I was hoping that we were going to be the fifth group to go, and I was banking on that. So please bear with me with whatever form of organization that comes with what I share.
Yeah.
My name is Blessing Ajimoti, and I am in Group 5. I took the notes for Group 5, and our focus was on talent and capacity building. And our goal was to actually think about ways to address the need to standardize and scale AI education and workforce training programs as a way of ensuring just transitions for workers and communities in the era of AI. And in terms of the things that we discussed, we wanted to talk about what regional and international partnerships are best suited to align AI curriculum. And we were also looking at what are the most effective strategies for embedding AI literacy across all levels of education. And then we also quickly discussed the mechanisms that can actually guarantee labor protections for workers impacted by AI-driven automation. So I'm just going to go through how our conversation went. So one of the first things we talked about was what outcomes actually were we trying to achieve, and then he brought up the question about do we actually believe that there is a need or there is a necessity to standardize the curriculum for AI? And well, the point was raised about whether or not that AI curriculum needs to be standardized. Whatever is done needs to just be multidisciplinary. And then the other question came about education for what actually, and two areas were highlighted about what professions are we thinking about education in terms of the kinds of professions that will be replaced in the world of AI, or are we thinking about it in terms of the need for upskilling or the kind of upskilling that needs to take place, especially for jobs that are either augmented or automated by AI. And we then said, answering this question about education for what makes it important for us to define what the purpose is of this education, and it should inform the approach that is taken when it comes to this standardization and upskilling. And we then said that it's important to use the definition of this purpose to inform, we will then use this purpose that is highlighted to inform how we define AI literacy, because what exactly, again, should be taught. There was a point about the importance of capacity building for the public sector, just to give them a basic awareness, because at the end of the day, governments will be to a large extent the ones organizing or coordinating all of these efforts around AI education. In terms of what can be done, there was a point raised about how it being important for policymakers to first be aware of the realities of how AI will impact their local economies as a way of informing how they collaborate, partner with other countries. Yes, and so, you need to first understand your local realities. How will the AI impact you? So whether or not there's standardization, maybe across countries, etc. First, governments need to understand how AI will actually affect their own local economies. And then that it was important to have capacity building for governments to help them actually identify these local needs. There was a good point that was raised about studying the patterns and trends with previous disruptions to jobs, maybe due to some level of industrialization or the introduction of new technology, and then see how countries reacted to that, and then use that to also inform how the reaction, I suppose, to AI is shaped when it comes to skilling. On the point, one of the points that was raised was around the importance of partnerships with frontier AI companies, especially these whose tools or models, etc., are being used to automate or augment tasks, and that it was important for them for partnerships between countries and these frontier AI companies to get the data behind the scenes for how people's behaviors, for how they use AI to augment their tasks, also automate their tasks, to then help government plan better, to see where gaps are, how it's informing unemployment, to inform where like upskilling needs to take place. And I did give the example, for instance, of a tiny bit of research, rapid research that I personally conducted. And one of the major things we found was that AI companies right now, frontier AI companies are just arbitrarily making data available. It's important to have like a structured approach. So actually looking at what's happening behind the scenes, people's interactions, or use of AI to actually augment tasks or automate tasks, and then use that to inform policy design. Final thing we said on what can be done is that there is also the importance for partnerships between governments and academic institutions as a way of actually contextualizing and what needs to be done vis-a-vis the conversation of standardization. Finally, Shiko, because you're here, on the point of one of the outcomes we were supposed to look at was having a roadmap for integrating social dialogue into AI scaling outcomes. And we said start with user needs, like we said, digital translation. Understand the local realities of those you're trying to support, and then use that to inform the design and delivery of AI scaling initiatives. Thank you.